To enter public kindergarten in Maryland, there is one absolute rule. A child must be 5 years old on or before September 1st. This date is the statewide standard. It applies uniformly across every public school district in Maryland, creating a hard boundary for enrollment. Landing on the right side of that line has immediate financial consequences. Missing the cutoff means families are on the hook for another full year of childcare or private preschool tuition. The cutoff also establishes the default timeline for a child's early education, setting the expected dates for entering first grade and moving through the elementary system. But while the state mandates the September 1st deadline, any exceptions to that rule are controlled entirely by local counties. That collision between a rigid state law and fragmented local policies leaves many parents struggling to map out their child's educational future. The friction hits hardest for families with bubble birthdays, kids born in late August, September, or early October. A parent with a late August child faces a tough call. The child is legally eligible to start, but might not be socially mature enough to handle a kindergarten classroom. On the other side, parents of early September kids watch children miss the cutoff by mere days, forced into a holding pattern while peers move ahead. These bubble families have to choose between accepting a delayed academic timeline or investing serious time and effort fighting for a localized early entry exception. To resolve this, we are going to break down the exact options and trade-offs available to you based strictly on your child's birth month. Navigating Maryland's system requires looking past the calendar and evaluating true developmental readiness. This decision tree shows the enrollment pathways in Maryland based on when your child turns 5. Children with spring or early summer birthdays fall into the first path. They achieve automatic eligibility with no bureaucratic hurdles. If your child is in this group, your only required action is to gather your proof of residency, birth certificates, and immunization records to register. The picture gets complicated in the bubble group, starting with late August birthdays. These children hit the age requirement right before the deadline closes. Enrolling a late August child immediately saves a family an entire year of childcare or private preschool tuition. The trade-off is that they will be the youngest in their cohort, carrying a higher risk of lagging behind their classmates in self-regulation and group attention skills. For these kids, chronological eligibility does not guarantee they are ready for the social demands of a full school day. Then there is the second half of the bubble, children who turn 5 in September, shortly after the line is drawn. Early entry for this group is never automatic. It requires a formal application process that is defined entirely by the local school system. This path demands significant effort, usually involving gathering preschool teacher recommendations and scheduling formal readiness assessments. The exact timelines and required documents for this process change depending on which Maryland county you live in. There is also a high risk of denial. Counties reserve early entrance only for children demonstrating exceptional capabilities across the board. The stress of petitioning a local county for early admission makes sense only if a child's developmental maturity vastly outpaces their biological age. Finally, there are the children who turn 5 in the late fall or winter, clearly missing the entry window. For these families, Maryland Public Pre-Kindergarten serves as the primary bridge between early childhood care and formal elementary school. Public pre-K has its own distinct age rule. A child must be exactly 4 years old or older on September 1st of that school year to qualify. This path delays first grade entry by a year, but provides a structured environment to build necessary classroom skills without the academic pressure of kindergarten. Missing the cutoff can feel like a setback, but an extra year of early learning gives children more time to strengthen their language skills and classroom confidence. To understand how Maryland evaluates readiness beyond the enrollment paperwork, we need to look at what happens once a child walks into a classroom. During the first few weeks of school, the state administers the Kindergarten Readiness Assessment, or KRA, to all incoming kindergartners. Teachers use the KRA to understand each child's baseline skills and plan instruction that supports their specific developmental needs. This chart shows exactly what the KRA measures. Half focuses on academic skills like early literacy and math, while the other half evaluates social-emotional development. The KRA shows that Maryland schools view readiness as a broad, holistic metric. A birth date alone does not equal classroom capability. This brings us to everyday readiness. You can gauge true kindergarten preparedness at home by looking for practical skills, like following simple directions, using the bathroom independently, separating from a parent, and sharing attention with a group. If your child has a clear-cut spring or summer birthday, ignore the bureaucracy. Focus entirely on mastering that everyday readiness checklist. If you are in the bubble group considering early entry, only initiate a county petition if your child heavily over-indexes on social-emotional independence, not just raw intelligence. And if your child misses the cutoff, embrace the wait year. Contact your local county immediately to check eligibility for public pre-K programs. The September 1st boundary dictates legal entry, but giving a child the gift of time to build their social-emotional skills is the most reliable strategy for a successful school career.